Hey, 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 it looks like this meeting is being live streamed. I am so excited to be with everybody today. How's everybody doing as you come on? I love it. Whoops, of course, I didn't mute my computer. If you would say hi and let me know that I'm not talking to myself, that would be awesome. It is a beautiful day here in Southern California, and I hope that you are having a gorgeous day as well. I have, hey Nancy, there I go. I guess you guys must be hearing my voice. And hey Jill, hey everybody. I had something I really wanted to talk to you guys about today. As you guys know, I work with, and for those of you that just may be meeting me for the first time, let me introduce myself. First, that you know, today I'm going to be talking about the facts around overnight success, crazy pants stuff, and even not overnight success. And I'll be sharing some of the things that worked for me and revolutioned the speed at which that I grew my business. For those of you, thank you for all the hearts. I love that. Thank you for all the hearts. For those of you that are looking to maybe speed up the growth of your business, I'm going to share some of that stuff with you. And also, again, if you are new, my name is Carla Silver. I help network marketers build and automate their businesses online so that you can rank up, make more money, and spend more time with the people you love most in the world. And I think like online is my jam. I have built 6 network marketing businesses to the top without doing friends and family or anything offline. I'm a tremendous introvert, and so I've built a business that I love in a way that I can build it. And also, buying has changed so much that what we teach is what 100% what works now. So that's the enough of the background. I'm going to be sharing actually part of my story today. Some of it maybe I haven't shared with anybody that here. Maybe some of you that might be members of our top producer mastermind might have heard some of this, but I think it's just important to understand that whatever you're feeling in your business right now is just feeling. Just because maybe you're not moving as fast as you want. Actually, let me take a poll. How many people that are listening to my voice right now feel like that you should be going faster in your business, that you should be growing faster in your business, that you look at all these other people that are other people on social that are achieving things? Let me know if any of you are frustrated with that at all, or even worse, maybe think that you're not enough, or even worse than that, think that maybe you aren't cut out for this, right? Is anybody experiencing those negative emotions? Darcy says yes. Jackie says yes. Daphne says yes. Mary, awesome. I mean, not awesome. That's not awesome. But I want you to hear this. I want you to understand that those feelings are normal and they're just feelings. They are not facts. So they have a potential. I'm going to show you by the end of the time we spend together today that they're wrong. This comes up a lot, especially in our coaching programs where we're working directly with amazing entrepreneurs just like you that want to go faster. We give them the pathway to do that. But what happens is that success at anything is hard. So what happens is that and let me ask you guys if this is true. Typically, this is what we find, that most entrepreneurs that want to go faster in their business, the first thing they encounter is, oh my gosh, I don't really have a clear path. Like I'm not 100% certain that I have a clear path. How many of you are experiencing that? Maybe I just don't have a clear path. I'd love to hear that. Hey, Ellie. Yep, Darcy says she's just wanting to go faster. Do you feel like you have a super clear pathway to go? Jill says, I want to grow faster. Yes, Jesus is her sustainer. Daphne says she's all over the place. Right. So that isn't unusual. That isn't unusual at all. But here's the kicker that makes it even more confusing sometimes. So once you have a path that you have to follow, what happens is that you have that path. And so, for example, and this is not about selling our programs, but this is a really good example. Once you choose a path, and say you choose to move with us, or you choose to be mentored by somebody else, or you've got a clear path. Once you have that, guess what? Things get hard. You have to overcome obstacles. You have to make decisions. And what happens as humans here, we tend to debate with ourselves whether we're on the right path at that point. And so I just want to underscore that that this idea of overnight success comes up a lot. So I watched a video a couple weeks ago, and the beautiful soul that was on the video, she was saying, okay, so let's say, and you guys know this, right? You know this in your hearts, but um, we are we are basically watching everybody else's success story on social. Also, within our company's leaders, etc., are programmed, and it's in their best interest too. If somebody shoots some random unicorn shoots out of the gate and they have some amazing success, all eyes and all edification turns towards that person to say, "Hey, look, you can do this too." And that should happen. I'm not saying that that shouldn't happen, but what that does to average people like you and me, it tends to be like, well, shoot, why is that person suddenly making $100,000 a month after 2 days in the business? Or why is that person signing up an average of 2 or 3 new business builders a week? And I'm not. And suddenly the comparison stuff that goes on in our heads, the non fact emotions, take over and we beat ourselves up. And all of us do this, guys. I do this, right? I've got other entrepreneurs and other people that I look at that are shooting up to like billions, it feels like billions of dollars in sales. And I want to make amazing impact. I want to change more people's lives. So this comparisonitis happens all the time. So, and plus, social media is such a place where we have our. I mean, I'm guilty of this too, right? For the most part, you see my highlight reel, right? I need to make. I don't have a coffee cup here, but I need some new real brand photos, and I just keep putting it off because smiling and fake and holding up my coffee cup isn't something I love to do. It's just fake, but it is part of building a brand. So we get to watch all of this, all these other people be amazing, and then guess what that does? Well, why am I not doing this? Why? What is going on with me? Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I'm not good enough. Is this ever going to work? Maybe I just maybe I'm in the wrong company. Maybe all the maybes. So here's the deal, right? Just to remind you, if you wanted to learn the piano, right, which is not that difficult, it requires work and dedication over time to learn the things you need to learn. You're not just going to belt out American Rhapsody by George Gershwin, one of the most amazing piano compositions ever, in a week or even a month or even in a year. It takes time and practice and adjustments and teaching and practice and practice and practice and practice and practice just to get to the place where you can play row, row, row your boat, right? So remember, being an entrepreneur isn't any different. It is, and I know we all want to be successful tomorrow, but it isn't any different. Yeah, Linda says she's wondering if she's in the wrong company all the time. And guess what? You're going to have the exact. It doesn't matter unless you don't like your product or you don't believe in it, and that's a whole different thing. Um, unless you get past that, you're going to have the same problems at every single other company. So, just some quick background for those of you that are new, maybe are just meeting me for their first time. Or want to hear this piece of my story. I got started in this industry a really long time ago, so I feel like I'm a dinosaur. I got started in May of 2004, so we're going on. This is 2002, so we're going to be 18 years. in this upcoming May. And just remember, this girl wasn't going to go out and do meetings or anything. I wasn't able energetically to do that. That wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to do the friends and family. There was no social media. So there were no real free ways of growing your business. But there was, my company told me how to build my business, placing ads in classified sections of newspapers. So I did that, and they said generate 100 leads a week. I didn't know that was supposed to be hard, so I went and did that. And so I had 100 people to call every week and put through it and prospect them on the phone and put them through their business. And um, when I was exposed to the business, I had responded to an ad on Career Builder or something, and my upline called me the next morning. I must have been just how you can send your resume to people. I was bing 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 responding to random job ads, and my upline called me on the phone the next day, explained that I had responded to his ad somewhere on Career Builder or Monster or something, and sent me to a half an hour phone call. And I was like, holy crap, if it's that easy, I am so going to be rich, right? So I got off that call, talked to Don, and we're like, where can we send you $1,000? Back in those days, it wasn't even online, right? We had to send a check for $1,000. Excuse me, $1,500, and he got to keep 1,000. So his commission was 1,000, and I thought, holy crap! If I only make 10 sales a month, that's $10,000 a month. I'm gonna be rich, right? Like, this is the easiest thing in the world. But it wasn't. And it wasn't for me at all. I was busy trying to sell people into the opportunity. And for those of you who've been around more than a heartbeat in this industry, people want to buy. They're anxious about getting started. They want to solve their financial problems. They want your products, all those things, but they don't want to be sold to. So my first mistake was first mistake was being salesy. And just to cut to the chase, I didn't make any sales. And I was spending money on advertising. We started to take it, it got so bad over the period of 6 or 7 months that we didn't have our money to pay our rent. We didn't have our money to pay. We were taking all the money. We occasionally would make a sale, and we take all that money and dump it right back into advertising, because we knew stopped if we stopped advertising, we wouldn't have any leads and we have no chance of making money. So we were paying Peter or robbing Peter to pay Paul. And during that time, right when I first started, I made a very powerful decision. And I want you to understand, you've probably heard this, like the word decision is Latin or Greek for to cut off. And in my mind, I made the decision that I was never, ever, ever going to go back to a job again. That I had and there's a whole nother story behind that, but I had sacrificed everything in my life for corporate America, and I was never going to do that again, ever. So here we are in this, and so that was not even an option, and I had everybody in my family, what are you doing? You're in this weird thing? Like, I don't understand. Why aren't they paying you to go to, to fly to the corporate events? Like, that my family didn't understand, I guess, being an entrepreneur, which felt really awful because I was raised being told, so grateful for this. I was told that I could be, do, or have anything I wanted. I could have anything. So when my dad said, you should go get a job, I was flabbergasted. I'm like, what? This person who has been with me my entire life is now telling me to go get a job. Well, this girl wasn't going to go get a job, so I was willing to do whatever it took for as long as it took not to have to go back to a job. So every single Monday morning, I would start again, right? I didn't work over the weekends. I would start again. I would call my prospects. But over time, what happens is you really lose your self-confidence. You lose your ability to think that you're good at anything. Remember, we're not around people. There was no social media. There was no Zoom. There was no place like this where we could hear other people's stories, except there were company calls. So things got pretty dicey. Like I was petrified to I was making phone calls, but I was petrified to answer the phone because it might be a bill collector, it might be my landlord, it might be somebody else that I owe money to. Like there was a monster pit in my stomach. And I kept, but here's what happened. I kept at it for years, like 2 years, 2.5 years. And I realized at one point that I wasn't quitting. And I knew I wasn't going to quit, but I knew I wasn't going to quit. And this is one of the insights I want to share with you because I was plugged into the company calls and I did whatever it took to get to their events. I don't know why I made those decisions to get to events. I can't remember why, but getting to those company events saved my life. I think I know part of it was there's in that company, there was enormous pressure to go to the events. So I did, but that pressure was legit. Like they did that for our own good, and you should too, right? Ever since then I realized how important attending company events were, as long as they aren't rah rah like dancing around the room for 4 days and no content. So, but the reason why that worked for me, and the reason why ever since then, all the opportunities that I've been involved with, regardless of what fancy pantsy rank title I had, I'm plugged in. I'm on those calls. I'm at those events. I'm attending those things because what I had to understand that I was in the process of becoming somebody else. I wasn't an employee anymore. I had to become an entrepreneur. And every single last one of you that are listening to my voice are facing the same thing, and you're in a different place. So, one of the big things for me for making that transition from being, okay, I'm doing this thing, I'm super excited, oh gosh, it's not working, oh gosh, it's not working, oh gosh, it's not working, was the belief that there were so many other people being successful that were not smarter than me, not thinner, fatter, skinnier, whiter, blacker. Like there was like all kinds of crazy people were having success at that company. And I just watched them and I was pissed. Like, for Pete's sake, if these people are having so much success, I can too. So I want you to understand that that being in the environment of success was so critical to me. And this wasn't half as easy as it is to be in the environment of success now. Now there are coaching programs and mentorship programs and Zoom and social media. You can pick and choose what you put into your head. So that's my first tip is like immerse yourself in and surround yourself with people that are having amazing success both inside of your business and other parts of your life. So I figured out the advertising part. I had enough leads. I started slowly getting better at not selling to people. But the next big thing that I reached was I was actually at an event. So who does this? So this girl flew to Cancun for a company 3-day event or whatever it was. Thank God it was at the Moon Palace. It was at the Moon Palace, which is an all-inclusive resort. But guess what, guys? This is how committed I was. Don and I went. We used miles to get down to Cancun, and I had exactly $18 to my name on a credit card. $18. So there was all the feels around that. The embarrassment, the thank goodness this is an all-inclusive resort. There was the I'm in a foreign country and I have $18 fear. There was the shame around that. I think most importantly for me, there was enormous shame. I didn't want anybody to find out, but I was there. And there were all kinds of other yucky things going on at the time. But one of the speakers at the event was a girl named Wendy. And she was talking about a concept that a lot of the leaders in that company talked about a lot. And this idea around be, do, have. So this is the second biggest thing I want to share with you. It's like you get paid not necessarily for what you do, although you have to do. It's for who you are and who you are being. So I was confused about this idea of who am I being? How is it that, like, what does that even mean? And I know that here in the United States and most of the places in the world, especially since after the industrial age, we were taught to have, do, be. So when I have this, then I can do the things that that person does, and I'll be that kind of person. How many people live like think that's how it works? Like the have, do, be. Or you like when I have that promotion, I'm going to be that diamond, and then I'll get to do the things the diamonds do, right? Well, that is wrong. It's actually you have to be that diamond and do the things the diamonds do to have those diamond results. I did not understand this because I felt like, okay, every time I've had a promotion or every time I had something significant happen in my life before network marketing, it happened because I was doing it the other way. Like I got the promotion and then I got to be the regional sales director of Warner Amex, and then I got to do the things that a vice president of blah 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 does. Like I had that in my head, and I'm like, well, I don't understand that. So this is something that I'd love for you to understand in the time that we have together today. You have to decide who you're becoming, and you have to be that, and it is a choice that you get to make over and over and over again. So back to Cancun, I'm in this ballroom, and this girl Wendy is in the front of the room, and I had been toying around with this idea, like, what does that really mean? Be, do, have. What do I and who do I want to be? Like, who is it that I am becoming? And I couldn't decide. There were too many things. Like I could be powerful. I could be like I was trying to be something that I wasn't, um, or wasn't in alignment with. And again, I'm not telling you decide to be some random person that you don't identify with, but you have to be that leader, be that beacon, be that light for your prospect to be able to resonate with you and follow you. So she got up, and I don't want you to copy this, but this is what resonated for me because I finally said, oh, okay, I get this. So she got up in front of the room and she was talking about she is she is the CEO of a multi-million dollar corporation. And she kept saying it. I am a CEO of a multi-million dollar corporation. And she had an amazing speech the rest of the time. But I was listening to that and I'm like, okay, I wonder if I could, because I knew CEOs of multi-million dollar corporations. They were usually older white men, which is not me, right? But I kind of started to resonate with that. Now, here's the PS to that. She had been an NCAA NCAA lacrosse coach, blah blah blah. She had been an amazing, talented woman. So she understood this because athletes understood this. You have to become that athlete in your head, do the things that that athlete does, and then you get those wonderful results, right? That works 100% of the time. You don't just say, I'm going to wait until I am a tennis player, and then I'm going to be on the WTA tour, and then I'm going to win the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells, which is happening right here a couple miles from my house. It doesn't work that way. In athletics, it works be, do, have. You got to decide you're going to be that tennis champion. You got to do the things that tennis champions do, and then you're a tennis champion. But back to Wendy. I found out right after her talk that she was brand new in the company. And I'm like, what do you mean you're a CEO of a multi-million dollar corporation? Well, guess what happened? She was brand new. She spoke on that stage because of her athletic creds. And then that year, she made exactly $1,125,000. Boom! Because she was that person. She did those things, and she got those results. So the part of this part I really want to share with you is just choose wisely and decide who you are becoming. Who is it that you are? Who is it that where look at your goals and like who is that woman or man, if we have some men in here listening to me, who is that person that is achieving that? Who is that? And be that person now, because everything, my friends, is energy, everything, and your prospects feel you. So let me check at my notes. If there's any questions, please let me know, because there's a couple more things that I want to share with you. So I did make a decision that you're going to be successful. Number one. Number two, be in your company's training. I am fully willing to brainwash myself 100%. I'll do whatever it needs to do to reach my financial goals. I don't care, right? I'm cool with brainwashing. So be in your company's stuff. Surround yourself with people in your company. Attend your company live events in person, because that's where that knowingness, the belief goes from intellectual belief into your heart, which is where it has to be for you to be able to sell or lead anybody. Next, I'm just going to touch on this a little bit, is just trust the process. You are exactly where you need to be right now. You would not be here, much less listening to me, but you would not be in your company and you would not be pursuing these dreams if it wasn't meant for you. You might want to move, sometimes it involves moving companies to get more in alignment, but you would not be here right now in this industry if it wasn't the exact right thing for you. People are waiting for you to become this amazing entrepreneur that you're in the process of becoming, so that you can change their lives. So please understand that. Just trust, trust, trust. Okay, next, and thanks for all the hearts and thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Guys, if your dreams are important, and let me finish my whole story. So 2 years go by. We actually didn't have an upline during that time at all. Our upline, I'll tell it, our upline got removed from the company. And then his mother was his upline, and she was an evil witch, substitute the word B. And she told all these lies about us and a bunch of other people. So we were kind of like excommunicated from our team. But here's what we had. We had this trust or knowing. I had the knowing that I wanted to be, there was too much evidence. There were people, average people, that were no better than me or you or anybody else making these freaking extraordinary incomes. So I knew that we could do it if we just figured it out. And most of it was just figuring out, for me, how not to be the salesperson. Number two, to be that just over time, because I can't just decide to be a leader. Oh, I'm going to be a leader and I'm going to be this and that tomorrow. It takes time. It's understanding how to play the piano. It takes time. That becoming takes time. That understanding and confidence takes time. So we didn't have an upline, but I was prospecting like a crazy person. And one day I realized that I had to feel 1,000% confident that I could help somebody regardless of my results. So how many of you sometimes feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not going as fast and this is kind of painful, right? I'm feeling crappy about myself, or shoot, if I can't help myself, how can I help someone else? Anybody feel that? Like, that was totally going on for me. And I realized that that is my ego. Boom. That was a huge revelation for me, because I felt that I had to be responsible for somebody else's success. And when I realized that someone else's success had nothing, barely nothing to do with me, anyone in my downline, right? Anybody in my organization or whatever you call it, doesn't have, their success is not dependent on you at all. It is the systems that your company has in place, the quality of the company, do they pay, the products, their enthusiasm. A lot of it has to do with your downline. It has nothing to do with me. And then I could feel confident in bringing somebody in and plugging them into somebody else, another system. So I just took myself out. I did two things. I took my ego that was my beaten down ego, right? Because I was ashamed, I was fearful, I was scared about the freaking doorbell and the phone and all the other junk. And then, oh my gosh, how can I inflict that pain on somebody else? That's the first thing I had to let. That's your ego. That's your ego getting in the way. And plus, it's not my responsibility to be shepherding somebody through, right? It's important to understand that, right? That they hopefully your company has those systems in place so that you can just plug them into recordings and team calls, and they'll have 100% of what's required to build their business. If it isn't set up that way, it's not set up to scale big, right? You want to be able to bring 10 people on in a day and have them all working and doing what they need to do. But that's a whole nother conversation. So I just knew that I had to develop the character, the belief in myself, which required me being somebody different and taking myself and my ego out of the way. Number two. And number three, the most important part was feeling confident that I could plug them into something else. So if you're not confident about that, figure out what's gonna happen on the. It's kind of like if you get started at your company, one thing the company does is get you set up to get paid right away, right? So because they need to pay you, that you need to get paid. So the same thing is true. If you're looking to recruit, you want to be able to assist that person in getting started right away. So make sure you understand how that works and watch the sales come in. And I just have a couple more quick things to share with you. I know that investing in myself was super important. And this is crazy. My parents and everybody thought I was cuckoo for coconuts because I had no money. I went to Cancun with $18. I'm full of I'm just barely. I'm hiding. I'm not going out because we can't afford to go out. All this stuff is happening. Yet I'm running my business and I'm investing in my business. We ended up investing another $8,000 and then another $12,500 in personal development conferences to help us get the F out of our way. And those were probably the most important investments we ever made in ourselves, where we realized how fast we could grow as a result of those investments. So you do not have to invest 8,000 and 12,000 and all of these big monies, but invest in yourself. Pick wisely. Don't invest all over the place because you'll make yourself loony toony. But we invested in ourselves, and then we did stop watching the news. I really had to protect and this is probably something that's almost impossible to do now because of social media and, frankly, the crazy Netflix Truman Show that we're watching in the world right now. But try not to pollute your brain as much as possible because it's just going to create a negative cycle in your head. And the most important thing you can do is nurture your thoughts, and of course everything starts with your thoughts, which create your feelings and the things you do, etc. And then I just want to end on this, and this is something that I had to learn, and I love Mel Robbins for this. It's just celebrate everything. In our masterminds, it's a big deal for us to celebrate everything. I don't care because. And the most important things to celebrate are the small things. I am up. It is beautiful outside. I'm in a sunny office. Like, these are the small things that create the energy for you to create the big wins. So celebrate every single thing that you can. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And I have so much to say on this, but I know I'm going longer than I wanted to go, so I'm just going to end on this. In order to bring our dreams, and I'm looking at, it's like I'm on Zoom looking at your faces, so it doesn't make any sense at all. In order to bring our dreams and ideas into reality, we must be willing to trust the process, trust the journey, and even enjoy it along the way. Enjoy everything. Now, I'm not teaching on social media right now, but I want to say this. It is more important for you to share the journey than the end result on social. It is more important for you to celebrate your frustrations and all the things along the way. You will regret it if you don't. That is an aside. So just creating success is about committing to staying on track and continuing to take tiny step after tiny step after tiny step in the direction of your dreams until you finally get to where you want to be. So stay on your path where you're following your heart and your dreams. Allow yourself to trust and hang on, to keep going and learning and growing, and everything will open up for you. It is so amazing, the journey and the time. So yeah, it looks like somebody's made it, but guys, I just want to reassure you, I have the same doubts and fears. And why isn't it going fast? Why am I not doing this? Why? And I have to remind myself of exactly the same things that I've shared with you today. It's a journey. We're going to celebrate every single last thing along the way and love it, warts and all. So that's all I have for you today. Big love. I hope this has been of value to you. I I really have this on my heart. So go out and make it a big, amazing day. I know you will, and I'll see you in my next live. Bye, everyone.